I've heard so many times that all it takes is one. And I'm here to tell you that it's true. But maybe not in the way that you think. I started posting genuine content that I was actually passionate about consistently about 7 months ago. And I really didn't expect to get anything out of it other than personal fulfillment. But I think it's actually changing my life. You see, 3 months into posting consistently, I made a short film about my life, and within a few days, it started blowing up. It started showing up on the homepage and being recommended to thousands of people. Within a couple of weeks, I went from around 800 subscribers to 5,000, and the growth has been pretty steady ever since. But I'd be lying if I said all it took was a few months and one video to change my life. Because the journey is about so much more than the numbers and the analytics. See, the truth is, my journey started almost 2 decades ago when YouTube was a brand new platform. As a little girl, violating the terms of service, I created my first YouTube channel at just 10 years old. And using a little blue camcorder that came with its own editing software, I started making videos for the first time, and I fell in love. Although my channel was eventually shut down due to my age, that didn't stop me from continuing to create and post to new channels throughout my adolescence and into my adulthood. As I grew up and changed, so did the platform. And before long, some of the creators that I grew up alongside had gone on to be full-time content creators doing what they love. Throughout all these years, I had this little dream that maybe that could happen for me too. But life always seemed to get in the way. YouTube was always this little hobby that was in the background and was there when I needed it, but consistency was my weakness, and I finally figured out why. I continually had these seasons where I would just stop creating for me. You see, back in 2015, I started my small business creating wedding films, which would eventually become my full-time job. And simultaneously, I was working a full-time job as a director of videography up until 2021. And while I was doing what I loved, filmmaking and telling stories, I was no longer making time to create anything just because I wanted to. I was only creating things that were on a task list and had a deadline. So everything that I was creating had stress, pressure, money, and validation attached to it. And the thing is, the love for a medium changes when you stop doing it simply for the sake of having fun. Things shift when you no longer create them from a place of passion and inspiration, from your own heart and your own experience. It's not that you can't make art for your job, that's what I do. It's when you only do that it's an issue. I think as artists and creative humans, we need the freedom to be able to create things that bring our souls alive, regardless of how many people see them, how they perform, or how much money they make us. We were created to be free of all the worries that seemingly always attach themselves to our art. We were not created to carry that weight all of the time. So what changed? How did I suddenly have the time and the motivation to create things for fun again, consistently? one day I just broke. I realized that I had fallen out of love with my craft because the weight of the grind was sucking the life out of me. I had to face that truth head on, and I had to realize that I have deeper needs than external validation and money. I had to do something about it or nothing would ever change. So I deleted the apps, I scrapped my process, and I changed my priorities. I sat down and I started writing what would be my first personal project in more than a year. And suddenly I felt this part of myself that had died come to life again. I created and posted that video in a matter of days, and that started it all. 7 months later, I'm still going. And that video didn't blow up, but it created something brand new in me. It reignited that little girl that loved storytelling simply because it was fun and inspiring.
Tell me what I'm gonna do with my life. I have a dream and I wanna know if it's gonna come true.
Look, it's a daily battle not to stare at YouTube Studio all day long and obsess over strategy and the numbers side of things, especially if you want to grow an audience. But I can honestly say that I am so much happier creating things for me again. Remembering that I have the freedom to create things with no strings attached is, well, life-changing. If you're struggling to start, sit down and think about why you want to create in the first place. Tap into that and begin, because all it takes is one to change your life.